Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to TSP TV. I'm your host, TSP, the Thrift Store Prepper. You can call me T if you like. And thank you for tuning in to today's episode, which we will be looking at, or looking into rather, my homemade 24-hour TSP TV ration pack. So without any further ado, let's dive into today's short and sweet little episode. So some of you may or may not know that I do have a little bit of an enthusiasm and dare I say love for MREs and rations, and actually have quite a lot of ration reviews, international and domestic, compiled in several playlists for your viewing pleasure. And something I do enjoy is a good old ration review video. Something I do enjoy, utilizing my supper by opening up in what is in sometimes these cool looking packaging, all these little components and things in there. I don't know why I find MREs and rations and all the things inside them so cool, but I do, and I do enjoy eating them and reviewing them and getting to experience cuisines from all around the world. And some of you who do watch those MRE ration reviews also enjoy them. But anyway, a little while ago, you may or may not be aware or familiar with that I did receive, you can see the package in here, a TSP TV 24-hour ration pack. Now, this was a specially custom made and commissioned ration that I had made for myself, and still to this day is the best ration I have ever possibly reviewed. And it was custom made by my French connection over there in Paris, France. I will try and put the link in to the description for that video if you want to watch it and see what was in the original TSP 24-hour ration pack. I don't know if you can see there. He also sent me this cool little license plate with my logo and the same design that is on the packaging, that this was all made by VZRM. Shout out to you, homeboy. Hopefully we will be in touch in the future. Maybe get another custom made ration pack sent over, but due to the pandemic and being out of work and such forth, has put a little bit of a dent in my ration reviews, and I am actually currently down to only 2 rations on hand, although they are both 24 hours. I've got a Russian MRE, which is the Russian equivalent to FEMA. They distribute these 24-hour ration packs in emergency areas, and also have a Portuguese 24-hour ration pack courtesy of my other MRE ration hookup guy, Safari Man 1. Those will be brought to you at some point in the not so distant future, but because they are the only 2 rations I have on hand, I'm kind of a little bit reluctant to get in and to review those. But a little while ago I did pick up a couple of cases. I actually picked up 3 cases in total of almost out of date MREs that were due to be beyond their best before date in October 2019. Now, last summer, after the events of spring break 2019, I had a few donations thrown into my tip jar. I treated myself to a box of MREs in a little bit of a, not necessarily lifelong ambition, but a little bit of a dream come true in the fact that I actually got to kind of do an MRE review and upload it to YouTube, which before TSP TV was a thing, or the Thrift Store Prepper became a channel. That was one of my desired, I guess, material content for an idea of a YouTube channel before I was a YouTuber. But since I've been the Thrift Store Prepper, since TSP TV has evolved and grown over the years, MRE and ration reviews are something I've managed to incorporate as part of the entertainment that I bring you on this channel, and I use the word entertainment very loosely. But shit video productions, we do try to keep it real. I'm a real person. This is a real studio. These are real ration reviews. I'm not getting sponsored or there's no hidden agenda for me to do this. It's just personal enjoyment and little hobbies, and dare I say, some of you out there do tend to enjoy my endeavors. So anyway, I did have this custom made 24-hour ration pack, and I was saying that I did have some out of date rations. So I did initially review all 12 rations that were in the first box, and I kind of treated myself to another 2 boxes just to add to the pantry. You know, MREs or something. If I had a choice, I'd just have stacks and stacks of MREs for my emergency pantry purposes, just because I think they're so cool, and you can't really go wrong with MREs, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, I did end up living off of those 2 cases of almost out of date, although by the time I was living on them, they were in fact out of date. But the early part of this pandemic, scamdemic, plandemic, whatever you choose to label it as, that is entirely up to you. But at the start of this COVID-19 lockdown, let's call it that, just to give it a generic description, I put myself out of work and actually had to resort on living off of my pantry, and my food insurance become incredibly worth its weight in dollars that I spent at the dollar store. And I've been, able to sustain and feed myself without too much additional cost or expense to myself. And this is why I prep, is because you never know what might be laying ahead, and you never know when you might be out of work or unable to pay the bills, and being able to feed yourself in times of those crises is a very, very important thing. Can contribute greatly to mood and productivity, and being able to kind of overcome some of the other obstacles that you may face. But anyway, I did live off of those rations almost entirely, and did actually start putting out a series of rat-fucked ration reviews. Unfortunately, I had about 6 of those because I was living on rations almost every single day. So I had about 6 videos that I had pre-recorded ready for upload for your entertainment and viewing pleasure. Unfortunately, those videos, along with a few others, were lost in the destruction of the original thrift phone. We do got a thrift phone Mark II. We do got a brand new phone which I'm recording on now, which I should also incidentally point out we're recording in full HD 4K. Don't know if that's making any difference to your viewing pleasures, guys. Let me know in the comments below if they are noticeable. But we are recording now in 4K. We are upgrading. I do dare say I may almost have a little bit of my groove back on for some shit video productions, or maybe I'm faking it. But anyway, I was left with some of these MRE components left, and when I kind of looked at what I had left in my little container that I was keeping these in, once I kind of broke them down, got rid of all the excess packaging and cardboard and stuff I don't really need, that was taking up a lot more room than need be. Because part of my micro prepping is, how do you kind of prep when you don't have much space, as part of why I do what I do and kind of put these videos out. But I downsized everything, rat fucked my rations, but after sort of living off them almost for 5 to 6 weeks, eating rations almost every day, I got a little bit tired, and I actually did have some sort of fresh groceries that were delivered to me courtesy of the kindness of donations of my viewers from Walmart, which gave me some fresh produce. But when I kind of looked down again, I was a little bit reluctant to start eating all of my MRE components. Because I do love MREs, and there's something a little bit comforting about having them on hand. And hopefully maybe at some point in the not so distant future we might be able to start getting some more ration reviews in, and maybe replenish the MREs that no longer are in my pantry. But when I looked at what I had left, I kind of looked at it and I thought, my goodness, there's almost a 24-hour ration there waiting to happen. And seeing as I had this in fantastic mylar printed bag with TSP TV, I thought, you know what, I was actually using this as decorative purposes, but I thought, you know what, why don't we make ourselves a 24-hour ration? So let's have a look, without any further ado, what is inside this ration. Okie dokie, so we have rearranged the studio just so we can present everything for you, and this is part of why I've kind of tried to upgrade and rearrange my studio, so we can kind of get different views and kind of maybe utilize what little space I have in order to produce different looking videos, that should see we say. But anyway, let's not digress, let's get into our first item. So our first item that I did have left over, which was one of that I thought would be a good item to definitely have in a 24-hour ration pack, is a strawberry dairy shake powder. Now these are pretty fortified. It's kind of like one of those Eshore or Boost kind of milkshakes. It's like loaded up with vitamins and proteins and additional kind of nutritional requirements. That would be a great thing to kind of have to start off your day for breakfast. Already we've got 12 grams of protein. We get 15% vitamin A, 4% vitamin C, 40% calcium, iron 2%, and vitamin D 40%, as well as some carbs, fats, and 300 calories. So that is kind of a little bit, not necessarily a meal supplement, but or meal replacement, but it is something that will be supplemented. Now for our bread components, we kind of have two good old-fashioned MRE crackers, and I also have some tortilla plains. There's kind of 3 courses for your breakfast, for your lunch, and for your supper. You've got 3 bread components, tortillas, and 2 good old MRE crackers. And the MRE crackers are extremely comforting. To me, I do enjoy eating those. Something else I tossed in was 3 accessory packs. That gives you 3 spoons, 3 napkins, 3 wet naps, sugar, coffee, creamer, stuff like that. Salt and pepper. So you get 3. Let's try and put those maybe at the front, just because I want to be able to get everything on screen if at all possible. So we've got 3 accessory packs. I've also got 3 hot sauces. I don't know how I managed to get 3 hot sauces left out of all of those rations, but 3 hot sauce. Sometimes hot sauce makes everything taste good. So let's try and kind of put those there for you. In terms of spread, somehow I only was left with 1 cheese spread, but that's okay. We've got some cheese spread. Cheese spread is good to have with our crackers or our tortillas. What else have we got? So breakfast, I think. That's not the breakfast. Let me get the... Oh, we've got another dessert or breakfasty kind of item here, which would be a maple muffin top, a little bit like Seinfeld. Elaine had the idea of just sending the top of the muffin to you, the muffin tops, and threw away the muffin bottoms. I've got into some dilemmas with that episode, but okay, I do got the lunch component there. Is this the I'm trying to see for myself. No, that isn't. That's the side dish. Okay, so there's breakfast. I'm not sure if you can see that. It does say apple maple oatmeal, so that would be your breakfast. You've got your milkshake, you've got your oatmeal, you've got your crackers. Maybe you could crumble the crackers into your oatmeal. Kind of gives it a little bit of that kind of apple pie kind of flavor. I have done it a couple of times, and it actually was in one of the videos that you're not going to get to see because it got lost in the destruction of the thrift phone. Okay, so I've got lunch and supper to show you. The other beverage, oh no, that's another chocolate pudding. So that's a dessert for you there. I thought that was going to be a beverage base, but it isn't. So here's one of our side dishes, which is au gratin potatoes. One of my favorite of all the MRE components out of the Almost Out of Date series that I did, and actually possibly one of my favorite side dishes or entrees out of all the MREs I have tried. And I've tried quite a lot of weird, wonderful, and worldwide, goodness, got that back to front, worldwide rations from China, Russia, Norway, Chile, Canada, the United States. The list does go on. So what else do we got here? We have chicken fajita. We also have chili with beans. Now, one of those ration reviews that you're not going to get to see, I actually mixed the chili beans with the au gratin potatoes to try and make something a little bit similar to kind of chili cheese fries. That shit was bomb. That is possibly the best of the best rat-fucked ration reviews that I did that you're not going to see, unfortunately. And finally, I do got some fried rice to make up my meal. So we'd have the oatmeal for breakfast along with the dairy shake and the crackers. Then for lunch or supper, depending on your choice, you could have either the chicken fajitas and rice, you could have the chicken, the chili, and the au gratin potatoes. My choice would be I'd have the fried rice and the fajitas for lunch along with the tortillas. Then for my supper, because it is a little bit heavier and a little bit heartier, the cheese and the beans and the chili, that stuff will kind of stick to your ribs and probably send you to sleep. You've also got a dessert. You can have either the maple muffin top with lunch or supper, and you've got a chocolate pudding. I was going to throw in some drinks and stuff, like I do got some Hawaiian punch kind of Kool-Aid instant drink sachets, which I could possibly throw in to this to kind of add some beverage bases. But I did drink a lot of the kind of beverage base powders over the course of the ration reviews that you're not going to get to see, so I did run out of those completely. But as I said, for most part, you do got yourself a pretty decent day's worth of food. We've got coffee, we've got sugar, we've got napkins, we've got spoons, we've got bread components, we've got you know, it would be nice if we had some peanut butter and jelly, but unfortunately, as I said, all of that stuff did kind of get eaten up, and this was what I was left with. This was the last of my almost out of date MRE components. So I thought, you know what, as I said, when I looked at it, it looked very much like there is a 24-hour ration for you waiting to happen. And as I had the bag, I thought to myself, why the hell not put it together? Now I am going to be using this for decorative purposes. It will be going on my shelving behind, which sometimes uses a little bit of a backdrop in the live shows. Hopefully we're going to get back in track and get you a decent live experience at least once a week. And I wanted to get this video out again, you know, 24-hour homemade ration pack with my own kind of decal on there. Maybe one of you viewers out there might even be interested in buying it and trying it for yourself, maybe doing a review, and maybe we might even get back to trying and getting our Northern Ration Reviewers challenge up, where me and my good other north of the border ration reviewers, Smitty and CT, miss you guys, in our ration related banter, but we do want to try and get a little bit of we had a challenge where we were all going to kind of make each other a ration and then send it around and review them. But maybe we'll try and reboot or rebrand or get back to that at some point. But I do enjoy rations, I do enjoy the reviews. This isn't exactly a ration review, but we are putting together some of the leftover components that I had on hand. Again, downsides in these were taking up an entire plastic container, and I had an empty bag. Just made sense to put the MRE ration food items into the ration bag and turn it into a little bit of decorative. And not only that, it would be purposeful if I ever did need to eat it. I mean, there is a good chance that I might review this in the not so distant future. That is, of course, unless one of you viewers does make me a very substantial offer for this 24-hour ration pack, and I would send it out to you, and maybe you could review it for me. But there are some of my favorite components, and I did like the chili, particularly out of all of the these kind of, is it Sopaco brand civilian stroke military grade components here, because these are pretty much essential as the military grade one, although this was the civilian option. But all it remains is me to stuff it all back in the bag and put it back on the shelf for its decorative purposes until times determine whether it gets sent out to a lucky viewer or whether I eat it and review it for your viewing pleasures. But this is, as always guys, a ship video production. This is TSP TV. I was your host, the Thrift Store Prepper, and hopefully we'll catch you in another one sometime soon. And until then, keep it thrifty, and do remember guys, be excellent to each other. Take care and see you soon.